Thank you so much, SQA Marshall, for having me here today. Even start, a big shout out to our speaker that just finished his own presentation. He really, really touched on a lot of things that I also have here prepared. So he has even already helped me to lay the foundation of what I want to be talking about. So basically, my session is on what HR professionals look out for in 2025 when it comes to QA engineers. Now, in hiring today, we look out for different criteria, in hiring, in promoting, and in retaining QA engineers. So I'll just share my screen. Let me share. Please let me know if you can. Something I can afford. If you can see my screen.
We can see it now.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So in today's complex world, we know that tech is taking over. Everyone is becoming tech savvy. People are transitioning into tech. And, this has made the tech space very, very competitive. Like people are going into cybersecurity, data and analytics, information security, QA, different professions when it comes to technology. Now, what exactly do HR look out for in QA engineers? So I'll take it one after the other. I'll start from hiring. And Mr. Joel already, shed a lot of light on the hiring process, what we look out for, when it comes to skills, soft skills, abilities, and all that. So I won't really dwell much on that, but let me just give like a brief summary of each categories that I have here. Now, when it comes to hiring, we look out for technical competency in terms of your proficiency level, how well you understand the job requirement, how well you understand the core requirements of the job, your ability to accomplish whatever task you will be saddled with, whatever task you'll be responsible for. This is like the moment where you're allowed to sell yourself. Why did you choose to become a QA engineer? You have to be objective. Let us know what you can bring to the table, your proficiency level. It's also dependent, of course, on the position you're applying for. If it's entry level, mid level, senior level. So if the position requires a senior level position, of course, we do not expect to be interviewing someone with just basic knowledge, someone who still needs more training. But of course, if you're someone who's just transitioning into tech, or if you're just, starting up, we look out for your knowledge, your basic knowledge, where we feel we feel like your level is at this point, So also talking about technical competency, we try to look out for your problem solving skills, the ability to visualize, understand and solve both simple, complex problems, and also your ability to make reasonable decisions when you are required to do so. So these are the things we look out for when it comes to technical competency. Now we also look out for soft skills, and these soft skills, Mr. Joel has really, really, spoken on it, like your communication skills, your adaptability, your collaboration skills. Because of course, as a QA engineer, you'll be working with different units, DevOps, the developers and all that, throughout the product life cycle, you'll be working with different units. So you really need some sort of skills that would help you in passing information. When you're passing information, it has to be clear, it has to be effective. When you're saying something and the next person does not understand the message you're trying to pass across. The communication is not complete. So these are skills, like Mr. Joel mentioned earlier as well. These are skills that you are not taught. You need to develop it. You see others doing it, you blend in. It helps you to blend in within the organization. Strong communication skills. This is very important for situations where you need to give reports. Your communication has to be very clear. Now, for adaptability, your ability to adjust to new environments, new conditions, changing. The world tech is evolving. Like the world is evolving. So you need you need to also be able to, move with the train, be able to, you know, embrace new methods, new frameworks. Like right now, people are embracing the agile mindset, agile framework. I don't know if you understand what that means. So the agile mindset is a way of thinking and working. This emphasizes flexibility. It shows continuous improvement. It encourages teams to respond to change very well, positively. It helps you embrace collaboration, and then you're able to deliver incrementally. So your mindset is about being proactive. You're willing to adjust to plans as needed rather than just following like a particular framework. Like if you're used to the manual ways of doing things, the manual framework, AI is here now. We're moving towards the automation processes. So you need to be able to change your mindset. So moving on to culture fit. Now, this is the extent to which a person's values and behavior aligns with the values, the beliefs, and the behavior of an organization. So HR also looks out for candidates who fit well into the company's culture. So this would help you to foster like a sense of belonging, and it contributes positively to the workplace. Your values need to align with the values of the organization. Different organizations have different core values: integrity, transparency, performance orientation, you know, and so on and so forth. So different core values. Your values need to align with the values of the organization for you to be able to thrive in that particular organization. So from the questions that will be asked during the interview, some tricky questions that might be thrown to you. These questions would, just basically want to see how you fit into that organization. So I'll also be speaking on certifications. Now, you have the experience, you have the technical know-how, you have years of experience, but how do you back up these qualifications you have? How do you back up this experience, years of experiences you have? How do you back up this knowledge you have? You know, some would argue that certifications is not compulsory, but it helps to boost your profile. Like how well would you back up your experiences that you have? You need certifications to be able to back that up. Like in most adverts you will see, if it's for accounting, you would see ICANN. Having ICANN would be an added advantage. If it's for HR, CIPM will be an added advantage. So also it relates to QA engineers. Certifications also would help boost your profile. It helps us know that, oh, this person actually knows what he's doing, or this person has a good projection of what he wants to achieve. This person can actually improve his or herself. So certification is optional, but it is valued. So I suggest it strongly. So looking at portfolio. Now, portfolio has to do with real world evidence. It does not have to be your best work, but let us see what you have been able to work on, even if it's just a project you were privileged to be a part of. It doesn't have to be the complete product life cycle. Projects you were able to put in some contributions. A it could be a project you oversaw from start to finish. It could be a voluntary work, maybe you did for startups, and all that. Real world evidence. Let us know that you know your onions, you know what you're talking about. you know this can also come from past experiences. It could come from performance testing, security testing, mobile testing, all kinds of testing. So this further gives you an edge. It makes us know that you know what you're talking about. You know what you're aiming for as a QA engineer. So moving on to promoting. When it comes to promoting, we see ownership and leadership, cross-functional influence, business impact, and development. Now, how do you position yourself to be seen as a QA engineer? How do you position yourself to be seen? How have you prepared yourself for the next step in your career? What makes you stand out? From your daily activities, the way you relate with people in the office, the way you relate to people, not just within your team, but also outside your team. So we look at your ability to create innovative solutions because, of course, like I mentioned earlier, the world is evolving. We are having new competencies. New competencies are becoming high in demand. It does not matter how long you have been in a particular position. As long as you're a performer, you will get noticed. If you're not someone who shies away from extra responsibilities, or if you're someone who is proactive, like you're able to take up initiative, come up with ways to bring up improvement, ways that things can be done. You aim for improvement. You help to keep the chaos in check. You drive test strategies and processes. So this is what we look out for. Also, we look out for cross-functional influence. You act as a bridge between different teams, departments. They don't necessarily have to report to you. It just shows that you're able to work together and they support your ideas. You're able to share goals clearly. You're able to motivate people. It's really about working across teams, building relationships, and getting things done together, even without direct authority. You're not a gatekeeper, and by this I mean you don't hide your knowledge. Instead, you're able to coach people into becoming better QA engineers. Now, I'll be talking on business impact. Here, we would expect that the role you play as a QA engineer demonstrates how your work impacts the product quality, the time to market, customer satisfaction. In essence, you are able to show the value of your work by linking it to important business outcome. So as I mentioned, the product quality, you're able to improve the testing process. You help to reduce bugs, making the product more reliable for users. Time to market, customer satisfaction. You're able to show how your work helps the product to succeed. Now, talking about development, one thing that I've come to understand is in this tech age, the shelf life or the timeline between innovation is very short. So when something is trending, before you know, something else has come up and is trending again. I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me. So like in Nigeria today, something is trending today. Before another week, something else is trending. So also when it comes to our professions, different things tend to trend. So this is why we need to keep learning and we need to keep improving ourselves. So if you're used to manual testings or manual method, you have to learn automation systems now because the world is evolving. So you're able to keep up with new tools, new trends, and new technology. And how are you able to achieve this? You attend webinars like this, you attend events, workshops, to keep yourself up to date with new trends. You can take up courses, online courses, certifications, just to be able to improve yourself. And with this, definitely promotion will be on the line for you. So I'll also be talking on retaining QA talent. Now, in every organization, the turnover in the test coverage, it slows delivery and increases hiccups in production. You're in the middle of a production and then someone resigns and you need to replace that person. When that QA leaves, it's not just replacing someone on the team. Their knowledge of the product, the experience they already have, the understanding of the product, it goes with them. So we need to start looking for ways to hire someone else to. It takes time, and even after they join, they still need like weeks or months to fully get up to speed with the production process. So turnover in QA has a ripple effect. That is why retaining QA talent is a smart investment for organizations. So not just for team stability, but for product quality and customer satisfaction. So how do we address this and keep um, our professionals? So we need to keep them engaged. We set clear career growth, when you're joining an organization, you already know, oh, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, I want to move from one proficiency level to another, maybe from a junior level to senior level and become a team lead. You already have your projection of how you want to grow, career growth, you know. So the organization already sets a clear career growth for you. So you know what you're working towards, um, you know how your performance is monitored. You're able to know how your KPIs are monitored as well. So, talking about opportunities, you have the opportunity to work on challenging projects. You are given opportunity to be involved in the early stage of the production. You're able to do meaningful work. People actually see that you're able to give meaningful contributions. There's room for work-life balance. This is talking about work flexibility. There's no constant burnout from work stress, especially with this our Gen Z. Like the way at which they leave organizations now, once they feel they are stressed, their mental health is questioned. Work flexibility, they prefer remote work or hybrid work than going 9 to 5 every day in the office. So we need to be able to give work-life balance. This is another way of retaining QA talent. Talking about upskilling support, you know, the organization invests in learning through sponsored courses, conferences. There's access to in some organizations, you have access to exam leave. You're actually given some time off, to go and develop yourself, and you know that your job is still intact when you get back. So also you have access to mentoring, cross training with other units, DevOps and all that. So all this would help in retaining QA talent in organizations. So what are key takeaway from all this? QA in hiring is about skills and your mindset. What are you bringing to the table aside your knowledge, aside your experience? Your promotion, your career trajectory, how you hope to, level up in your organization, your impact, the way you show your leadership skills, then in retention, your growth and also your purpose. So it has become clear that QA engineers are no longer seen as just testers. Instead, they are now seen as problem solvers, quality advocates, and also they are integral partners in delivering great products, to the end users. So HR professionals are looking beyond just technical checkboxes today. They are searching for individuals who bring curiosity, adaptability, and a drive to continually improve both themselves and the systems they test. So thank you very much for listening. So if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat box. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm, exactly. All right. Thank you.